You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
An all-new season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Mom Talk has just been blowing up.
Whitney and Jen are on Dancing with the Stars.
Taylor is a bachelorette.
Saying that out loud is crazy. Like, that is huge.
But all the cool opportunities could pull us apart.
It's causing issues in everyone's marriage.
My whole world is falling apart right now. It's chaos.
Watch the Hulu original series, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Hey, Fidelity. How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app, you can choose a schedule and set up recurring investments in stocks and ETFs.
Oh, that sounds easier than I thought.
You got this.
Yeah, I do. Now, where did I put my keys?
You will find them where you left them.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
I'm Jenny Williamson.
And I'm Jen McMenemy, and this is Ancient History Fangirl, the end of season 14.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I stole it from you. New year, new sneaky sneaks.
New year, new me. It's the end of season 14. We got to the end of another sort of a season, a sneaky season. I don't know what we were doing.
A stealth season. I'm not quite sure what we were doing. I feel like 2025 really tested my everything. Just tested everything. I can't explain it any other way.
We couldn't decide if we were on break or not.
I don't know if it's about break or not. Like, honestly, I think 2025 fundamentally broke me in ways no other year has since maybe 2016.
Well, 2026 is looking great so far. So
6 days in.
6 days in is when we're recording this. We're dropping it a little later, but that is when we're recording it. Is January 6th, which is an inauspicious day, shall we say?
Yeah, a day that lives in infamy.
Getting back to what we just did on the podcast, which is what we're here to talk about.
So last season kind of wound up being more of an odds and sods season than we thought it was going to be. We had some awesome interviews that we'd been sort of saving to fit in with one of our bigger arcs, but for a variety of reasons that didn't work. So we saved them for the autumn, and we also had some very cool seasonal stuff that Jenny and I had been talking about for a long time.
Yeah, I wanted to fit in the Beast of the Gévaudan episodes, and those also didn't fit in the season we had previous. And we had plans to do some other things too, but we just couldn't get it done in time. So it really turned out to have a lot more re-releases in the past few months than we had originally planned. We got a few emails from people saying, so are you guys on break or are you not on break? What's happening? And we're like, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Jenny's being quite kind in this.
I am. Aren't I kind?
You are. 2025 has been a tough year for me, personally and financially. And as a result, I had to take on some work that I've never done before. I did some substituting, particularly in early childhood education. And we had really big plans for the autumn, and I wound up sick with bronchitis 3 times. So as a result, some of the bigger episodes I wanted to tackle, I just physically wasn't able to do, which did knock us off course for the season a little bit.
You may have noticed we didn't have a new Christmas episode. We did have plans for one, but it didn't quite come together in time.
It didn't, because I was so sick. I was on a lot of antibiotics, a lot of steroid shots. I lost my voice a few times. It's been really brutal on me health-wise. It's a difficult time for everyone right now. Everyone's lives are changing real rapidly with the rise of AI, and
everybody's healthcare falling through the floor. Happening to us too. We're also terrified.
I know I'm not alone, but I do think it's important to be transparent about what happened there, particularly because it was related to me.
So let's talk a little bit about our plan for the next few weeks and months coming up.
Yeah, because I'm super excited. I really am. It's been a long, dark year, and it's going to continue. So how do we fight that? We fight it with history. We fight it with what we know about the way the world works, and hopefully some courage for change, right? Give me those revolutions, bitch.
Yeah, so our plan for our break, which we're taking next, like a real break, we will not be dropping any new episodes during the break. Our theme for this break is going to be the winter of our discontent. We are re-releasing some of our episodes that deal with rebellions, revolutions, eating the rich, rising up, and we've got about 11 or so of those lined up to drop. It's all really great topics that we've covered: Spartacus, Teotihuacan, Boudica, all kinds of episodes like that, and some early Julius Caesar stuff too.
And Dionysus, my god, makes a return, as he should. He was the god of revolutions. To me, whenever I feel a little bit sad about the state of things, I like to look back on history and how we have handled things that are too big and too scary for us in the past and what it looks like. Because I do think we are heading into some strange, dark times, and looking at in the past, what has led to those big changes in society is not a bad thing. What do you think, Jenny?
Yeah, I agree. So that brings us into what we're going to do for our new season. So we had originally planned to drop a new season. We kept moving the date back. It was going to be January 6th, and then it was going to be the Ides of March, and then we just kind of looked at that timing and realized that it would still be a big crunch for us. So we have moved it back to April 9th. Our new season starts April 9th. And the plan, as we've talked about this for like a year now, is how a democracy dies. We know we've been bigging this up for ages. We were going to do some of it last year, and that didn't really gel. And so we are going to do it now. We are finally getting to it. So let's talk a little bit about what our plans are for this season, in case you haven't heard us mention it before.
It's a very big topic, and I think part of what was so overwhelming is where do we even start? And Jenny and I have been breaking down the best way to handle this so that it feels manageable and so it feels digestible for both us as your researchers and storytellers and you as our listeners. We're kind of breaking it down into several different topics, things that I've wanted to cover for years. I'm not going to tell you all of them. You got to be surprised a little bit.
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts. It knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief. And it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI. It's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
If data management is slowing down your business, you need the Intuit ERP. If one entity is here, and one here, and one here, and one here, you need the Intuit ERP. If scaling your business feels like starting over, you need the Intuit ERP. Intuit Enterprise Suite is the AI-native ERP solution that consolidates, migrates, and automates, all in one place. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
The general gist is that it's going to be about what happened in ancient Rome as it transitioned from a republic to an imperial military dictatorship, how that worked, and what are some lessons that we saw then that we're also seeing now. The reason the inception of this was around last year when Donald Trump was elected and we started seeing this very early on. We just noticed a lot of things going on that we'd seen in our research, and like just things that echoed down through time. And we were just, kind of looking at each other going, we have got to talk about this. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to do. We will say that the scary synchronicities have continued. There's even more to talk about now.
A few people are like, oh, you're behind the times on that. I'm like, actually, I would say we need this even more now than ever, particularly some of the information we have about propaganda and media and how that was used, and not just media as in reporting, media as in arts and artwork and communication, and how legacies are written or rewritten by the person in charge to serve their own agenda building. I mean, the Trump Kennedy Center, I could go for an hour on that in Augustus.
And storytelling, like how storytelling shapes an empire.
I also think one of the other things we're going to look at is how different people were complicit in what happened and how that worked and what we're seeing today, because it is something we are seeing particularly with some Mar-a-Lago women.
We are going to try and bring some experts in to talk about some things that are relevant to this topic too. Haven't asked anybody yet, so we can't give you names as of yet, but we hopefully will actually get the people that we plan to ask. Fingers crossed, because you never quite know whose schedules will line up with ours.
We have some excellent people in mind to talk about these topics, and it's going to be both a big season and kind of a capsule season, meaning like we can't go into every detail. We may revisit this at a later point in time, but our feeling is, much like our Project 2025 episodes we did a few years ago, we want to keep this tight and focused.
We don't want us to blow up the way that the Goths did, and we don't want to promise a specific number because who knows, but we also want to try and keep it focused.
Like, look, we know there'll be rabbit holes, so if we're planning on like X amount of episodes, it will probably be longer, and we can always revisit it if we need to in the following years, but it would also be nice to move around a little bit. But I feel like this unfinished business, the way we've been seeing history replaying itself, has to be done before my head can be clear to go anywhere else right now.
I completely agree with you on that. We have to address this before we move on, so that's what we're going to do. I mean, I think the reason that this is kind of a challenging topic for both of us is that we never intended to be a modern political commentary podcast. We obviously have our own political opinions on things. You can tell what those are if you listen to us for 5 minutes. I think when we started the podcast, it was during Donald Trump's first term, and we really did start it because we wanted a refuge, and we wanted to give other people a refuge, like a place they could go without hearing things that might be mentally triggering. I mean, the ancient world can be quite a bleak place, but just in terms of like things that are very relevant to today, we wanted to give people a trapdoor and a place to escape to, and that's what it was for us.
Yeah, I think what happened for us was we started the podcast, about a year or two later, we hit COVID, and a lot of people gave us a lot of like comments about how we were their escape during COVID, and the podcast was our escape too. But as we started digging deeper and deeper, we've gone a little more political, and unfortunately, I don't think you can have a platform in 2026 and watch what's going on in the world and not at least talk a little bit about it. And particularly if your podcast is about the ancient world, or if you have a knowledge of ancient Rome and you're watching all these broligarchs and people who really jerk off to the ancient Romans and what they did and not call out what's coming for us.
So we are going to attempt that next year for this season. I'm not saying that we're always going to do this, but we're going to give it a try next season, see how it goes. And I'm not really looking beyond that at this point, because who knows? The other thing that we're going to do, you might have noticed in the past, I guess, year or two, I think it's just the past year, we started doing 2 episodes a month instead of 4 episodes a month. So next year, our plan is to do 2 episodes of our general season a month, How a Democracy Dies episodes. And then for 1 episode, we're going to add back in the book club, because we might as well have one thing that keeps it light and fun. And we're going to have mostly smutty books like we did last year. We're going to do some romanticises, some romance novels that have real ties to mythology and history that would potentially interest our listeners. And some other fiction too. I don't think we're going to stick as closely to just having it be smut as before. There's going to be some non-smut fiction too in there that we enjoyed and that we want to bring an author on to talk about some aspect of history, generally historical fiction, generally aligned with ancient history. So twice a month, we will have How a Democracy Dies episode, and that might be an original episode that we wrote, or it might be an interview with an expert. And then once a month, we will have a book club episode, and then 1 week a month we will have off because we need to take that break.
It should hopefully give you guys something lighter to read or, enjoy in our book club selections. The reality is I have found that my mental health and happiness greatly increases when I read more. So we're hoping that might be the same for you. All of our book club episodes selections will have an author interview. They're all authors that we think you're going to enjoy, whether they're smutty or historical fiction or whatever. So hopefully that'll be a good escape. And in addition, because we are trying to go into 2026 with a feeling of giving back and enjoying life a little more, we're going to be running monthly giveaways, right, Jenny?
Yeah, we're going to be running monthly giveaways that include our books and the books that we potentially feature on the episodes. So you could potentially win one of our books, Enemy of My Dreams, my historical romantasy about Alaric of the Visigoths. You could win Women of Myth or the Lore Olympus Cookbook.
Our Oracle card deck based on Women of Myth. They are the sassiest cards.
Whatever combinations of those as we go, as our supplies last. Those are some of our plans for the next few months and into the new season.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
The Lincoln Spring Sales event is on now, and there's never been a better time to experience the feeling of driving a Lincoln. Pictures, sunlight through the available panoramic vista roof, music, weather, and maps on the 48-inch panoramic display, and a drive so smooth that inspiration rides up front. Stepping out better than you got in. That's the Lincoln feeling. Get behind the wheel of the 2026 Lincoln Nautilus SUV and discover exceptional offers only at your local Lincoln retailer.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
I do think that we should pause and talk a little bit about how both of our lives have been changing. I think that's really important to discuss because that is a real fact that I think that our listeners should know about. The reality is, and Jen has been hinting about this a little bit, the podcast has never paid us enough to support us both. It's never paid enough to support one person, really. Jen and I, over the past 2 years, have just thrown everything we could at growing the podcast and putting all of our extra time and energy into the podcast to the point where we've run down our savings and got to a point financially where we just absolutely could not do that anymore. We have basically reached the limit of how much we could throw at the podcast while not being compensated enough to survive. Both of us now have to put our energies elsewhere to sort of rebuild our savings again as much as we can and try to get ourselves on a better financial footing. And just for our own survival, we've had to do less on the podcast. We can't fulfill all the super ambitious plans that we sometimes have. Like, for example, it really hit us hard this fall, which is why we had a lot more re-releases than we'd planned. And that isn't what we want. But we don't see that changing in the next year unless your support changes. If you want us to keep doing this work, if you want us to take shorter breaks, if you want us to do more big, adventurous, and ambitious arcs, if you want us to do more episodes in a month, you have got to support us financially. I would say the most direct way to do that is to sign up on our Patreon. That's the main thing. Our Patreon is at patreon.com/ancienthistoryfangirl. That is a great way to do it because we do put extra episodes on there. We put videos on there. You get all of our main feed episodes early and all kinds of other stuff. You could also buy our books. You could buy our merch. You could listen to the ads in the podcast. You could buy the things we're advertising. I realize this is a real bad time to say this because everybody's money situation is dropping through the floor.
Yeah, everyone is hurting. We absolutely understand, and we know it's a big ask.
I want us to be transparent about what's going on because you are going to see us most likely, unless, we get a huge influx of support, which would be amazing. But most likely you are going to see us doing less next year and taking longer breaks, and this is why.
This podcast, this community, our listeners, you are so important to me. You have been here for so many dark times in my life, and I just want to keep the podcast going, but also we need to be making a little bit more money because...
A lot more money. Realistically, it's not a little bit more, it's a lot more.
Unfortunately, that is where we're at. So we need your support now more than ever.
There are free ways to support us. I'm just going to say that. If you are in financial dire straits, as many people are, tell your friends about us, both online and off. I said buy our books. You can also get them at the library. I love libraries. Talk about how great our books are, both online and off. Sign up to our newsletters. Help us grow in all the ways. Leave us positive comments on our books, on the things we put out in the world, on our podcast episodes. All of that helps. It does.
Share pictures of them on social media.
You can find our Patreon at patreon.com/ancienthistoryfangirl. We have newsletters at jennywilliamsonauthor.com, ancienthistoryfangirl.com, jenmcmenemy.com.
Yeah, finally. It's only taken me half a decade, but I have an almost functional website. By the time you listen to this, it will be functional. Jenny, please give me a round of applause.
Yay! Huzzah! Huzzah!
Listeners, I don't know if you're a fan of New Year's resolutions, but my New Year's resolution this year is to actually admit that I'm a writer, because I tend to shy away from that.
You've been a writer the whole time I've known you, which is like a million years.
But I haven't published a novel, so I feel like I'm not. The other thing I'm really bad about is promoting the other side hustle work I do. And Jenny and I were talking about it. One of the good things I've learned from teaching small children is there is a part of me that actually really enjoys teaching and sharing knowledge. So I plan on moving in that vein with the services I offer to authors and small businesses, because I think that's where my natural home is when I'm not writing novels and researching the ancient world. Feel free, if you follow me on Instagram at Jen McMenemy and you don't see any posts from me about any of the stuff I do for a while, to give me a little light ribbing in my DMs. Light.
Just to give you a roundup of places to find us on the interwebs, our Instagram is Ancient History Fangirl, Jenny freaking Williamson, and Jen McMenemy. Those are our individual Instagrams where we talk about all of our author things and side hustle things. I'm in Threads Fight Club. Jenny freaking Williamson.
I'm on Threads. I don't post as much as I should. It's at Jen McMenemy. Ancient History Fangirl is also on Threads. We are at Ancient History Fangirl. Again, we don't post as much as we should. I have plans for that in the future. We are also on TikTok, barely, but we're there at Ancient History Fangirl.
Our main platform is Instagram. That's just a fact.
Yeah, that's kind of a roundup of where you can find us at the moment. We're planning on, like we said, bringing you a really epic season, but we do need your help to keep bringing you seasons, including the one in front of us.
Our books. You should please buy our books. Here's a roundup of our books. I have a romance novel out, Enemy of My Dreams. The sequel, Game of Thieves, is coming out sometime in 2026.
We have a book that we co-wrote together that sounds like episodes of this podcast, but is not. It is a beautiful book with illustrations. That book is called Women of Myth.
It's about women in world mythology. It is epic. Jen also wrote the Lore Olympus cookbook. It's a cookbook based in the Lore Olympus world, and it's incredible. It's so much fun.
It's got a lot of history and mythology, as well as Lore Olympus lore, and the recipes are really, 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 really cookable and just delicious. I might share some more stuff from it over the next year so you can see how good everything looks.
Pre-order my sequel, Game of Thieves. You can pre-order that wherever books are sold. And with all that said, we will see you April 9th.
Until then, enjoy our winter of discontent. Yeah, we'll be teasing the new season and stuff from it from now until then.
We'll see you in the streets.
Our voices, our protests are needed now more than ever. So as we take you through some of the biggest rebellions in the ancient world, particularly the Greco-Roman world, we will see you on the other side for the start of How a Democracy Dies on April 9th.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Cassidy.
And I'm April, and together we are fashion historians, friends, and co-hosts of Dress, The History of Fashion, a podcast about why the clothes we wear matter throughout history and around the world.
From the cultural and societal to the personal and often political, with each episode we explore the multitude of meanings quite literally sewn into the clothes we wear.
Please join us in unraveling the hidden histories residing in your closet. New episodes are available on Wednesdays, and our Dressed Classic episodes re-air each Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you listen to your favorite shows.